Hello and welcome. Welcome to another great week. One of the things that I often hear from people is the question, why did I feel so good this morning or yesterday and now I feel so lousy? What came over me? How come my mood shifted so quickly? And what I want to impress upon and remind all of us is that emotions don't just come out of the blue, just bam, knock us upside of the head. Emotions always follow thoughts. If I'm saying good things to myself inside my head, I'm going to feel good. If I'm beating myself up, I'm going to feel lousy. And so, what I would encourage you to do is practice coming from the witness, coming from that observer part of you. For example, if I were to say to you, what are you thinking right now? What are you feeling right now? You would stop and you'd say, well, I'm feeling kind of curious, I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed, I'm feeling happy, whatever. Well, there's a part of you that is noticing how you feel. And it's so we as humans have the ability to observe how we're feeling. And so practice being aware of that and regularly just noticing how you feel. And when you start to feel yourself, let's get this over a little more center. When you start to feel yourself with your emotions dropping, stop. Take a deep breath. And then ask yourself, what was I just thinking? And if you notice that you're starting to feel worse about yourself, I can guarantee you that your last thought was very negative and self-critical. So I'm going along and I'm having a pretty good day, and then I think, and then I think a negative thought. Fill in the blank. So stop, take a deep breath, and then notice what your last thought was, and then say to yourself, okay, that's what I don't want. And then flip it over. What is it that I do want? Because that's really, out of every negative feeling, there is a seed of what we do want. For every criticism, there is the accompanying what I do want. And so I focus on what I do want. I want to be I want to be better in my fitness. I want to be better with money. I want to do better in school. I want to do better in my job. I want to, whatever it is. And then start telling yourself that every day, in every way, I'm getting better at getting into shape, at being a better parent, at being a better spouse, at whatever. And start seeing yourself as that person that you want to be. I oftentimes on Facebook, I will post a question, and I always love the responses, because I'll say, if I followed you around and I talked to you the way that you talk to you, what would you do? And This one time, this one lady wrote the comment, and she said, "I'd bust you in the mouth." Another one said, "I'd get a restraining order on you." And I'm like, exactly. So if it's not okay for me to talk to you that way, or for someone else to talk to you that way, then it can't be okay for you to talk to you that way. The difference is you can go home and close the door and leave someone else outside. You can go into another room and leave someone in another part of your house. But up here, we have to change it. And so we stop, we take a deep breath, and then we ask ourselves, what is it that I don't want? What is it that I do want? And now I'm seeing myself as what I do want. We will never get to a feeling good place by being self-critical. That's like, if I got in my car and I wanted to go to some Venezuela, for example, here in the States, somewhere in Latin America, and I got in my car and I started driving north, I'm not going to get to Latin America if I'm driving north. Similarly, I'm not going to get to a feel-good place if I'm beating myself up. The myth that many of us have is, I need to just beat myself up and motivate myself and tell myself that that I need to get my act together, but that doesn't work. If it had worked, if being self-abusive was working, you would have a wonderful self-esteem. You would have a wonderful life. But clearly it's not. And it's because we cannot drive north and expect to find ourselves somewhere south. And we cannot be critical and negative about ourselves and find ourselves in a joyful life. Now, oftentimes, in fact, most of the time, negative thinking has become a habit. For many of us, it's a train of thought that we learned in our childhood. We adopted the voice of our critic when we were little. And so now we don't have them around anymore. So now we're doing all the negative. And negative thinking, like any other habit, can be replaced, can be changed. Now, I want you to imagine that you are 9 or 10 years old, okay? And you live next to this beautiful forest, this beautiful, pristine forest. And on the other side of that forest, your best friend lives. Your best friend lives on the other side of this beautiful forest. And it's the first day of summer. So you jump on your bicycle and you ride your bike through this beautiful, pristine forest to your friend's house. And as you're riding along, you look back and you notice that there's this ever so slightly indentation in the forest floor. You can barely notice it where your tires have made an impression in the forest floor. And so you go to your friend's house, and then it comes dinner time, and so you ride yourself back, and again, you look back, and again, there's this tiny little indentation. And then you go back and forth, and you do that for 6 weeks. And then you notice that there has become a great pathway, because you've ridden your bike back and forth in that same place. It could be a groove, some might call it a rut, that you've gone back and forth. And then one day, you're kind of looking up over to the right, and you notice that this cliff goes way up to the top, and about 30 feet above you is a plateau. And it's nice and flat, and it takes you all the way to your friend's house. And you think, I would love to see this forest from that higher perspective. So you pick up your bike, take the tires out of that groove, out of that pathway, out of that rut, and you take it up to the higher ground and set it down on the higher ground, and you get on and you start on your way to your friend's your friend's house. Hold on, I've got a message here that's blocking me. Sorry. And you think, oh, I love that. That was so much more enjoyable because I could see this beautiful panorama, and it was just beautiful. So you make the decision, I'm going to ride up there from now on. So you start going back and forth and back and forth. And again, what started out as a tiny, tiny little indentation over time becomes a pathway, becomes a groove, becomes this journey. And so what we come to realize is a couple of really important things. Number one is that the higher pathway has become just as pronounced, just as deep. Sorry, getting a lot of messages today. I apologize. It becomes just as pronounced as the lower pathway used to be. And the second thing you notice is over time, as the forest has rains and so forth, the pathway down below has filled in, and then plants grow in and so forth. And so after a while, you can't even tell that there was once that pathway. And the same is true with our thoughts. As we practice taking our tires out of that rut of the old type of thinking and go to higher ground, and then riding up there and there's going to be times, going back to the forest, you're riding up there and you're having a great time, and you're kind of looking out over the trees, and your bicycle slides down the cliff, and you find yourself back in that rut, back in that groove, that pathway. We don't panic. We don't take out a branch and beat our bike or beat ourselves. We just pick up the bike, take the tires out of the rut, and we go back up, set it down, and we continue on our way. That's what we need to do with our thoughts. When we slide back down into those negative thinking, we stop, we take a deep breath. This is what I don't want. This is what I do want. And then we take our bike up to the higher ground, and we continue on our way. I love you. I believe in you. If you have any questions, reach out, contact me. I would love to help you through this and help you to individualize it for yourself. Until next week, I send you love and blessings, and I will talk to you soon.